Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your monthly Air Tribe report. Just a reminder, society is rigged, but outside of that, shout out to Edward Rivas, who created this brand. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, welcome to Virgo season 2025. As we know, the earth signs for air signs in astrology are the water houses, okay, which take the objective, or let's just say intellectual nature and communicative nature of air signs and bring the element of earth to add rationality and grounded realness, which will really speak of the dynamics in dealing with air and earth signs. As such, earth is in the water houses, so that air signs, which isn't traditionally associated with emotion, but directly manifests as your thoughts stir your feelings, provide this grounding with which you can be comfortable with, right? Logical air quality is, of course, going to be comfortable with rational analysis and also grounded clarity that brings reality to said ideas. And like I will mention in future World War Zero episodes, of course, I gotta make that next one. As I'll mention in future World War Zero episodes, of course, the nature of the air element is the yang of the yin. So when we do deal with yin, we're dealing with water and we're dealing with air. And when we deal with yang, we're dealing with fire and earth. Not to be confused with negative polarity and positive polarity. Earth and water will be negative, fire and air will be positive. I was very confused about how to make sense of both, but that's what helped me really understand it. So look forward to that. We're going to expand on the yin yang. For those of you who are OG members who've seen the Yin Yang Apprentice and the Yin Yang Master World War Zero, I have a brand new episode I'll work on later that expands on that concept. Pretty fun. So the yin represents the mind that governs the imagination. All right. Versus your physical body, that the passion and fire, of course, burns and generates and, molds, right? But yeah, the air is going to be the yang, whereas water is yin yin. Air is going to be the yang of the yin. And then whereas fire is the yin of the yang, earth is yang yang. Hence its distinct physical properties. Yang potency, people who are more yang are more into cars, technology, physical hardware. Think of yin as software and yang as hardware. So people who are more dominant in yin are probably more, they're going to be more, I don't want to just think more or less, but yeah, software, hardware. Okay. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to jump right into Gemini. Okay. Gemini, we know that Virgo is your fourth house of home and comfort. And yeah, this is the 90-degree integration of your mindset and your ideas that will, of course, put you in a position to now provide this analysis that takes this idea of yourself and puts you once again in a position to prepare to express through Libra this current update of your mindset, of who you think you are. Virgo is going to update the details around how you support these ideas relative to this recent evolution Jupiter has leveled you up through, and most importantly, Uranus that is in Gemini now. So, of course, the new moon in Virgo that we had was square Uranus in your first house or near your sun, making that, reaching the 0-degree conjunction if you have a later Gemini sun. But if you have an early Gemini sun, It's probably already, if you have a 1 degree, it's probably closer to that. All right. And same with the moon. Gemini rising, of course, this is proper in your first house, or maybe it's kind of coming out of the 12th house portion, getting ready to go into the first house. We're going to treat it like it's whole signs. When I do these interpretations, we treat it like I use equal signs, but for these interpretations, we're going to treat it like it's whole signs, right? So with that being said, Uranus in your first is now drawing on the previous Sun, Uranus, Taurus cycle that has activated the final level of full on mastery, innovating the unconscious habits and patterns that form your values, and the supernatural physiological quality of your angelic being that now that it has translated into Gemini will carry forth and apply the true enlightened effect of activity that's been awakening in you since 2010, and then physiologically since 2018. So this is where things hyper accelerate as far as your synchronization, really for everyone. You're just embodying it. Gemini risings, you're going to be expressing an unprecedented level of genius moving forward. That I think a great analogy for this is like NZT. You're going to feel like you're really taking NZT. Or I think a better analogy would be at the end of that movie Limitless, where he didn't need to use NZT anymore because now his brain has acclimated to it after using so much, instead of like dying like most other people did. And that you're going to really start to be more aware of all the work that has been happening auto nervously within you as you kind of express this through. So the new moon cycle in Virgo that's squaring this is taking into account this next cycle of now innovating the truth of who you are, so that you can provide a greater comfort zone. You can activate and adjust your perspective and your behavior around your comfort zone. Of course, Virgo in your fourth house is going to represent your private world, your private life. Unlike Virgo, who embodies this criticism, this is this space with which you feel comfortable in analyzing your surroundings and being put in a position to, of course, carry forth this sense of consistency. I'm going to be using these keywords just to kind of tie them together, but consistency regarding how you live in your home space. But I would also say relative to how it is you approach these dynamics reasonably moving forward. All right. Of course, this Libra in your fifth house represents the social talents that enable you to express your ideas. For Gemini, Libra is their Leo, right? They express Libra like it's Leo. So this is me with my thoughts, with myself, first house Gemini. You know what I'm saying? I think this is a pretty dope live. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this live. Now, this is me expressing it through my fifth house Libra. This is a really dope live, guys. I think I'm enjoying this live. What do you guys think about this live? Blah, 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 blah. So like there's this distinction, as you can see, between me individuating my thoughts and now having to integrate what I feel about what I'm saying is worth, the courage I have to express it, second and third house, Cancer and Leo, and now the factual basis with which supports my ideas. Now I can present it creatively and polished in Libra. All right. And then that's where we integrate it through Scorpio, add more psychological and psychoanalytical depth towards the deeper wisdom that we can now strengthen in this creative expression. Boom, that's what we show in Sagittarius. So that's really how to think about the psychology of Gemini, and knowing that Mars is actually in Libra, and we will end the transit with Mercury in Libra. A lot of these epiphanies that occur with the Sun Mercury conjunction in Virgo will really resituate how flawlessly you're able to support these budding ideas with, of course, so many receipts as well, and now fully express that creatively. While at current with Mars here, you are taking actions to develop this, right? through with Mars in Libra, how creatively you can take these social actions, how creatively you can act off of these ideas. All right. Because everything you're doing now, even if it's not in the conventional sense, because we're not the sun, you're not going to be aware of this before the sun is here. But these actions ahead of time you're taking, when the sun goes into Libra next month, you will be fully aware of what the process of that is. And as Venus comes out of Leo with Mercury and is polishing how much more boldly and how much more courageously you express your ideas, the whole facet of that with Pluto and Uranus trining this is not only are you innovating this unconventional quality of ideas around who you are, which if people don't think you're fucking crazy or insane, you're not doing it right. Pluto trining this is awakening a higher supernatural knowledgeable basis that shapes your philosophical approach around your angelic being. So like you're having to awaken an innovation outside of the realms of what the sciences of the current era are telling you in order to accept that you're an angel. Gemini rising, you embody an angel. Gemini sun, you have the spirit of an angel. Gemini moon, you have the soul of an angel. Sponsored by Aldebaran, Archangel. We're all connected to Archangel Michael. That's the thing. Archangel Michael is going to express itself through all of these Gemini portals. Some people are true vessels of Michael. Some people, like me, also have their name Michael with Gemini placements, right? This is like a eon like body, and there's so much expressions through this. And us representing that word counterpart of Aquarius, once again, the science doesn't get us, and we're going to be very instrumental, as well as every other side, everyone else, through the expression of these signs, of how we help science catch up to where we're at. All right, how we kind of innovate the full expression of these dynamics. So once again, just to kind of represent that, Pluto over the next 20 years is instrumental in reawakening your connection with the divine and with the celestial quality of your philosophy. Your philosophical approach representing truth taps into the universal knowledge outside of current world philosophies and theoretical models. And this is what enables you to really say things that sound crazy as fuck to people, only to have been telling the truth the whole time. Whereas there's a radical revolutionary approach you're taking to things, which might get on people's nerves, scare people, piss them off, but it's exactly what they need to hear at the time. And that's going to be a major theme now with Virgo, that you are understanding how to form habits around everything that has been activated for you over the past 3 months. Because as we go through Leo season in every August over the next 20 years, you're going to be able to take this greater reawakening and epiphanies that expand like this higher knowledge. It's like an extensive 20-year PhD course. Every Leo season, you're going to be expressing and presenting, this facet through your mindset. What are creative ways you can share these ideas, right? And that's where through Virgo, now that you have the mindset, we want to really analyze how we can bring more real basis to these ideas. What are we comfortable with resting in the reality of such, which once again is very important, because the whole purpose of this fourth house Virgo transit has a lot to do with your career in the 10th house, especially for those of you with Pisces MCs. I know we got a Pisces rising in the building. Shout out to you. The Pisces 10th houses, Pisces MCs. This is geared towards unlocking our career. Saturn retrograding back into Pisces with the North Node here is unlocking everything you are meant to achieve. Saying it again. Quite literally everything you were ever meant to succeed in. Outside of your awareness that's even possible, you have facilitated over the past 6 months in order to achieve. And it's not really like an ego thing, like, oh, I've achieved this. This is actually to facilitate the rest of the decade, everything that you actually need in order to push forward so that you can step into this. It's completing 30 years, especially since 2001, 2000, when Saturn was in our sign last. And then also relative to, Jupiter, which is now expanding our wealth. So this is really beautiful because we're unlocking career career success that immediately translates 6 months later into liquidity into our second house. Everything we believed we can achieve, we are now forming the foundation of our home and inner space with which we can now act off on this game plan to see all of this become real. So the past 6 months was us activating this, aligning our thoughts to, okay, I believe I can achieve this level of success. Now I am thinking as the one who has achieved this success. And now we are breaking through in Virgo by experiencing this become real, so that by Sagittarius season, we are showing other people, hey, look at what I made happen. And that's why this next 3 months is crunch time. This is the breakthrough. Our integration is the breakthrough of this eclipse. All right. If there's one thing you want to get excited about, I would realistically get excited about that, because the reworkings of your comfort zone, accepting, of course, how you have to adjust your behavior now that you are experiencing this greater success you were destined to come into happening, I think should really motivate you to just keep doing what you're doing, knowing that it's working. Especially relative now to the moon in Sagittarius, that will start to show us with that first quarter square what we're integrating and how that ties in, who we're meant to really develop this with. Then we'll have the full moon in Pisces that's going to help you understand at a total level how you have broken through this career success, and how from the full moon back to this next new moon through the moon in Gemini that's going to resituate, of course, how we must think about who we are to maintain this breakthrough. Right now, what we will apply in a short 30 days of making our dreams real in order to fully express towards other people, and now transform the nature of our career success relative to what more we can express now that we're already starting to receive elements of this success. And that's where with Uranus and Gemini, this is going to happen very quickly, very, very quickly. There's still going to be a level of pacing, but you can look for things to pick up once the moon goes into Sagittarius in about another few days, opposite Uranus in our sign. Okay, especially with Neptune and Saturn that is coming out of our 11th houses to reimagine not only this characterization of ourselves, but in the 11th, how that attracts authentic friendships to us, people, individuals who were in their corner and they're in our corner. All right. This is really awesome, because a lot of y'all have put in like so much powerful work. And it's not just us, right? I'm not saying this is just for one sign, but a lot of us has put in a lot of powerful work and may not have really gained the credit for it, right? I'm clearly not talking about every Gemini. So, there's different pacings here. Some people we saw at the forefront receiving these rewards, right? But I do want to put this out there regardless. Like, for those of you who have felt like maybe you've been overlooked, not even like you want praise, or not even like you need the credit, but for those of you who might have felt like perhaps you haven't necessarily seen the results relative to the work you've put in, you're going to be delighted to see that it was always there. Now it's just coming together in a way that is crystallizing more real. And at the very least, if you don't experience this by the end of this transit, you will have and be fully aware of the game plan of how to make this happen, with which you will now apply during Libra season, and thus over the next 6 months coming into March, already start to see this through Sagittarius at the end of the year. So yeah, that's one thing. But with Jupiter and Cancer that is actively expanding your liquidity, it requires for you, as you're integrating these habits, to feel rich as fuck, to feel valuable, to really relish into how much more success you are feeling, whether you see evidence of this or not, because the quality of a second house Cancer, the more wealthy you feel, the more wealth you attract. The more you bring comfort and empathy, not empathy, but comfort and compassion to other people, the more they trust you with their resources, because there's that exchange in a way. But realistically, the more valuable you feel, right, the more you attract. Correct. And that is a very important dynamic that will now lead us into Libra. Okay, so Libra, we do have the god of war in your zodiac sign right now. And at the end of the season, Mercury will definitely also come into your sign after it has, of course, cleared your 12th. The whole purpose of Virgo season is to conclude on the cycle that you began last year, October. All right. Now that the nodes have switched out of your sign, which has unlocked the artistic and balanced nature of your character to now unlock unconscious habits that no longer align with you. It's revisiting 6 months ago where you made a promise to yourself to unlock your dream life, to unlock every single belief you have as it pertains to how you're meant to not only live, but completely transcend and make obsolete how you used to live your life before. Okay. And you, over the past 6 months, have imagineered habits and routines that now in Virgo are expressing itself through the release of old habits, that these new habits you've imagineered will take their place. Okay. And on top of that, this now updates the nature of unconscious competence with which your analysis of events enable you to run autopilot on the fly. This release of perspective is now going to come back into Libra so that you can move forward relative to your social persona, now adopting this dream life, now stepping into identifying as one who has not made this dream life come out of the sky, right? But has actually made it. So this is a huge test. You really need to ask yourself, are you allowing the external environment around you to beat you up and keep you in a depression? Because for some of you who have been noticing that perhaps this is very difficult, I'm not necessarily sure how to get out of this, you are superpowers. Like you literally are a superhero, and you literally have like psychological super strength. You got the sauce. Like you are at the level of a superpower. Like you are a superpower. So like you literally have the vehicle of your imagination that enables you to quite literally decide, I want to experience my life like this now. And that's it. I'm not even going to tell you, just keep repeating it. You say it once, you got it. Okay, like you're that powerful. And now the higher level of power you have, the higher level of depression and darkness you can feel. But chances are, especially with Saturn and Neptune that is preparing to oppose your Libra sun, you're getting ready for a whole host of open enemies, people psychically attacking you, the social nature of your persona, having to deal with inauthenticity from others, or others checking your inauthenticity. At a healthy level, this is supposed to be done authentically, but people can get very nasty with it. So this is where the way you balance your persona is going to prepare you. And now this retrograde is making sure you are staying true to what you promised in March you want to live, and to make sure you are not keeping and holding on to unconscious habits that get in the way of these beliefs of how you should live. So that if either or is unaligned, you must adjust either your beliefs or, of course, your behavior, or both, in order to facilitate this. All right. So that by Sagittarius season, you're able to show people how this reflects in your mindset and how much more powerful you become as a result. And as a result, this is entirely about totally changing your life. And I'm not going to compromise here. This is a dream life integration. You're living your dream life. You've probably been living your dream life. It's just adding to that. Right. And this is making sure you have total control around how this happens, so that you can hold others accountable towards how you integrate this with other people as Saturn goes back into Aries, where it will be warfare for the next 7 years. Like people are going to be coming at you like they've never come at you before. Libra moon, Libra sun, Libra rising. If you don't believe me, ask Leo. Okay, 2021 to 2023, Young Thug went to prison. Tory Lanez still hasn't even won his appeal. Young Dolph got shot and killed. Teddy Ray died. Like, they really came for Leo. They came for Virgo. They came for Cancer before that. They're coming for you, Libra. You have a lot of people jealous of you. You have a lot of people who don't like you. You have a lot of people you have differences with who may want to work it out with you and build stuff with. You have a lot of people who want to build healthy, powerful relationships with you. And your job is to sort those out and to not really let people kind of play you, because they will try. I promise you, they will try. Okay. And this is where now this season and closing out the previous cycle unlocks these unconscious beliefs, the unconscious analysis of these beliefs, and also, of course, the unconscious competence with which Venus will polish moving forward at the end of the transit. But the epiphany with the Sun conjunct Mercury that we will have in the middle of this transit will inspire you to really now see in a detailed fashion how it is you might be getting in your own way, or what hidden enemies are subtly trying to influence your behavior in order to fall back to old patterns, whether that is you or whether that is someone else reflecting you or just really trying to fuck with you. I'm gonna be completely honest. Now, we do have the Pluto trine Uranus. Uranus for you is innovating the unconventional nature of your philosophical approach towards communicating the meaning of truth and towards showing people the truth and towards demonstrating the truth. Because, congratulations, at the end of the decade, by 2033, it will innovate considerably your legacy. And as of current, the evolution cycle that you began back in 2017 as a Libra rising or a Libra sun, you are completed and you are completing. Before Jupiter retrogrades in Scorpio season, you already have Jupiter in your 10th house. Even for the moons, the Libra moons, this is going to be 270 degrees. Of course, in towards your moon, that's going to have you feel this aspect of success, of course, relative to where it falls in your house. You'll see where that plays out. But like, yeah, you have considerably gone through the gauntlet. And once again, since Jupiter was in Libra in 2017, you have expanded this new cycle towards who you are and how you interface with other people. 2022 and 2023 was when Jupiter went into Aries and you began to harvest and break through this evolution of self. You started to level up your partnerships, expand what more you can do with other people. And now that Jupiter's in Cancer, you've completed that breakthrough. You've completed the harvest. And this is now applying itself to level up your accomplishments, to put you, especially for you progressed Libra suns, progressed Libra risings, put you in a position, albeit if you were born Libra or Libra rising, you've probably progressed into Scorpio. So this will enact the extended range. Yeah, that's definitely a t-shirt. But what this is definitely going to put into Earth knows they worth, air don't care. I like that. So what's really clear about this though is that you're in Cancer. This is the last sign that has an individually defined success portal. And like Gemini, who wants to feel wealthy and they will become more wealthy, right? You feel that success and this is going to drive you forward into success. But in this sense, it's really looking at the goals that you've set and being honest with yourself relative to how they make you feel. How do you feel towards your approach of certain goals? And it's a very important thing, especially being a social personality where, unlike Aries that is reasonably selfish and is going to look out for self, you are the activist that bridges other voices and people, and you can be so influenced by other people's opinions as you influence other people's opinions that you know really making decisions based off of what feels right to you is going to be of course the right decision. Now, this is not really the most conventional to me because, for example, Aries, your opposite sign, has Capricorn in the 10th house. So they're going to have their own private feelings, but 10th house Capricorn would suggest it's not really their emotions that should govern their decision making. They want to actually, because they're so passionate, make a much more grounded decision despite how they might feel about it, right? Aries might feel like punching the shit out of their boss, but they're not going to do that. They're going to take a much more mature decision. Whereas with you, Libra, you know what I mean? Like you are already you embody intelligence, applied smarts, like applied intellect. So this enables you in this balancing through or this more logical approach to trust more your own emotions, which is an application of your psychic ability of just sensing and feeling what would the right decision be, especially because your fourth house is Capricorn. So you already have this hidden decisive quality and decision-making capability that pushes forward, which is funny because your stereotype is being indecisive when truthfully you're anything but. I mean, it's not like you can't be, but yeah. So really, I just want to really emphasize like this whole period over the next 3 years is about you coming into some of the greatest success you've perhaps come into for a while. It's not the only period you're coming into success, but it's something to keep in mind, especially now that Cardi B is rolling out her album. And I can imagine that should be very interesting to see what it does. And other such Libra acts, Libra Sun, Libra Rising, you know what I mean? The South Node that you guys went through was really to help prepare for this new world order that's that's being brought in. And now that it's in Virgo, this is going to really unlock all the work since 2023 you've done to really imagineer your dream life. So once again, 2023, Saturn just entered Pisces. That was the testing period after Jupiter in 2022 expanded what more you can believe is possible to live in your dream life, how much more you can accomplish day to day. Now Saturn constructed this expansion of beliefs by testing what belief systems you want to have to maintain that, what you truly believe you're supposed to be doing day to day, not based on like what you should do. What do you dream to do? And Saturn was the cement that was really having you apply more discipline to make this through. So everything from this construction process of 2023 to 2025, the North Node will unlock. And it's very important, guy. Like you guys are very powerful and you want to be very sure you're not approaching this like a child. Like Gemini and Aries can get away with that. At some point, they're going to have to, of course, step back into their power. But these are baby signs. Like Taurus can get away with being a bit lazy. They just need that brand to get them out of bed. But you are mid adulthood. Like by the time we get to Libra, by the time we get to Sagittarius, this is peak adulthood. This is why the later signs have so much greater potency. But you don't just get a slap on the wrist because you're responsible for more people. So like ask yourself, Libra, are you fucking miserable? Are you fucking miserable? Because if you're miserable, you are actively telling yourself, I can't get out of this situation. This is horrible. I don't know what I could do. And like you fucking have superpowers. You have fucking, so you're literally hyper manifesting this. No one is going to save you, Libra. You're the superhero. You're the superhero. Like this is that type of superhero dilemma where it's like, people count on you to really help push them through. And maybe you feel like you might not have someone who can. It doesn't matter. You have superpowers, right? And like, I know at this level, it's like, yeah, new levels, new devils. You experience things on higher levels, but you literally are one decision away from saying, you know what? Fuck this. I own this shit. If I want to go somewhere, I can go there. If I want my life to feel like a dream life, I've decided that's what it is, and fully immerse yourself in that imagination and do this because the gravity is going to be a lot more intense. The depth of this darkness, you go through the Scorpio progression before you get to Sag. So it is going to be much darker, much more intense, but get the fuck over it. You're one of my favorite zodiac signs for a reason. You're literally the most powerful zodiac sign outside of Capricorn. So just get that shit out the way and get ready to break through, because if you really shoot yourself in the foot with this, you may never really get another opportunity to take advantage of what's already around you. And by the time Saturn comes back to the 7th, you may be locked in towards certain contracts that you have because you made the conscientious decision to just focus on what's going wrong instead of deciding this is non-negotiable. This is how I dream of living. This is what it is. Like, you're that powerful. So it's just something to keep in mind. Regardless, with Jupiter in your 10th, this is expanding and opening up so much opportunities for you to achieve a greater level of success. And everything you've gone through primarily through the previous cycles can quite literally be overturned if you're ready to apply this revelation of more hidden secrets around unconscious habits, unconscious details and receipts. A lot of you guys have hidden receipts that might come out to light and will change the way people look at you or people who you're dealing with too. All right. So once again, something to keep in mind. I wanted to give you reassurance. I think what's really happening more so is that the Libras the Libras dealing with this. You're on your shit. You're on point. You're doing what has to be done. Regardless of whether you have beliefs or philosophies that are challenging or controversial or are even like buku, like delusional, it's really more so the integrity with which you are living them through, because if not, you are going to get called out mercilessly. And some of you, you're about that life, so they not going to catch you slipping. But for others of you, this is definitely going to help you adjust where necessary so that you can tighten up as necessary. Okay, so yeah, just keep that in mind. As Mars will leave your sign and go into Scorpio, this is going to apply this redefinition of how assertive you are towards now what kind of value you can begin to manifest through it. Because when Mars goes into your 2nd house of money and trines Jupiter in your 10th house of career, connected with Saturn in your 6th house of work, this grand water trine, whether light or direct, is going to secure a fuck ton of worth and wealth for you, rather a lot of wealth. You're going to begin to understand how to monetize and liquidate a lot of this expansion of what more you are achieving in your career, what more goals you can come in to achieve before we go to Scorpio season and reevaluate what has expanded before we finish this off, because then we're going to have the Leo Jupiter and South Node, which is going to unlock all these rewards and everyone who's meant to be around you, as of course you are reawakening talent supernaturally. And that's your supernatural breakthrough with Pluto in the 5th, impacting and awakening more innovation of how you teach what it is you or practice what you preach or show what it is you're showing, and innovating the words, how you put more like abstract concepts in the words, how you put things that people really have no explanation for and creatively show them the truth. All right. So there's a lot in this for you to really lock in and break through, because it's going to very powerfully changing and control this all. And for Libra risings and Libra suns, as Saturn will go through Aries, this prepares you for marriage, divorce. It facilitates divorce, breakups, opens up space for you to get with a more serious partner, or for you to develop more serious business partnerships, to raise the standards of your partnerships with others, and to absolutely murk the shit out of anybody that's really trying to play you. Because Libra, I already feel like you're going to be tried. You're going to be tried. You're going to be tried. People think you can be touched, and you might have to remind them that you got superpowers for a reason. All right. That being said, Diabol Aquarius, you are the awakening quality and element behind this supernatural resurrection of humanity's potential, even within animal and plant life. And you are somewhat responsible, along with Pisces, with the cataclysms that might wipe out thousands to millions of people. In fact, the energy that has been suppressed within you is awakening rapidly, and it is causing very uncharacteristic actions within others, which they will not necessarily be aware is happening just because you're present. Okay. Once again, especially when you were born, I would say a good percentage of your capability and what you were capable of was sealed. You weren't necessarily able to access it. You weren't necessarily able to understand it. You knew its potential, but there was no outlet for it. And even being nerfed as much as you were, the small portion of your psyche and capability you've had access to still puts you on a level above pretty much everyone else. Now, this is no longer being sealed, and that can only mean the end of the world, which is why this happens after the apocalypse cycle. It's actually very terrifying, but I'm just going to pretend like it's funny. So, yeah, with that being said, you are also awakening deeper levels and nature of the claircognizance you embody, the sense of omniscience, the sense of knowing thyself, especially as an Aquarius rising. And Uranus in Gemini is now going to innovate this expression of this higher knowledge through how creative you are with your words, your communication, everything that Jupiter expanded last year. So Jupiter evolved how much more you can express and communicate, how you level up the wittiness with which you express your ideas. And as it's going through Cancer, this is integrating and expressing how you apply these talents towards how you feel you should live, right? So basically, Jupiter through Gemini literally leveled up how much more you can fully express with your words, because you are the mind of God, and Gemini is like the word of God. Gemini expresses the word of that Aquarian mind. And now Jupiter going through this literally leveled up what words you use to express the knowledge of who you are, what's on your mind. And now going through Cancer, how do you feel you integrate this knowledge? How do you apply this change of idea, this level up idea towards how you feel, and integrate all of that before we break through into Leo and you're performing the knowledge of self towards others? That's the psychology, of course, of the opposition of Leo to Aquarius, how we go from Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, manifesting the imagination of the knowledge, and then, of course, naming and identifying an original concept that, of course, produces this attitude, and then landing your spaceship in Taurus, integrating natural values that don't just leave spaceships up in the air, putting that into words, and then, of course, integrating emotional habits and patterns so that you can fully express this towards others, thus leading us to Virgo season that transforms these boundaries relative to how you deal with others, relative to how well people really respect or deal with your beliefs around what you're worth. Okay, you manifest imagination. Knowledge is like the programming that enables you to fully imagine better. Because if you tell me to imagine a horse and I don't know what a horse is, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine. If I do not know what a horse is, how can I imagine a horse? Like if you tell me to imagine and I'm like, what the fuck? How would I know how to do that? Right? It's knowledge that precedes imagination. This is why Einstein says the only force greater than knowledge is imagination. So of course, like if I know what a horse is, then I can imagine a horse. Boom. So you, of course, in knowledge of yourself, reflect this through Pisces in imagining and believing what you're worth, maintaining those beliefs. Saturn, since 2023, has structured greater control and authority around your worth and has tested the mutable nature of your self-esteem through this place to make sure that you own your worth. Okay, while Chiron has been healing how vulnerable you radically and authentically express your mindset through reckless conversations or through really just speaking without abandon, without filter, right? You already come at such a higher knowledgeable place that you can speak unfiltered. And yeah, it might really come across as rough to people, but I mean, you're already so knowledgeable and highly intelligent that it ends up actually having its own sense of charm. I see this though as your unique original alien language, because unlike other people, I know that you speak alien. Okay, I know that you have a unique original language you speak. You have this type of thing where you can telepathically speak with other people in front of other people, and only certain people can hear what you're saying, and other people can't hear what you're saying. Diabolic Aquarius. I don't know all your plans, but I do know enough that your existence on this planet is very controversial, and you're next to Pisces, which is probably like even more controversial. So like, yeah, Saturn that has gone through, of course, Pisces has now imagineered reality warping relative to your ability to manifest literally what you imagine. It's the next step from what we talked about with Capricorn yesterday, where Capricorn's supernatural mindset through the vehicle of their imagination enables them to just imagine their immediate environment, and what they imagine their mindset real time actually happens, thus being that elite god power that can quite literally warp reality just by thinking of it. You're the next level of this, the next step forward, where you could literally imagine a cheeseburger sandwich in your brain right now. Take your hand, go into your imagination, pull that cheeseburger out, and now you're eating it. All right. I know you can do that. If no one else knows you can do that, I know you can do that. And that's where you have been tested around whether your influence or your presence in this planet has made you forget who you are. That's why Pluto is in your sign, because some of you are looking wild crazy, and you're acting like a mortal being. You're acting like you're immortal. You're acting like you're a mortal, and it's weird, dude. You acting like you're human. You're like, you know what? Like, I don't know how I'm going to make this money. And I mean, I don't know how I'm going to come into the success. And it's like, please, excuse me? Like, you're not even from here. Like you literally embody the supernatural. You literally could just be like, boom, now. So if you don't know you can do that, you forgot who you are. And Pluto is going to rudely awaken you over the next 20 years, because this shit is not a game. Yeah, Elisha, like the interference that Forest Fairy Tarot and I had was biblical. Like that made no sense. Like the tabs, the browser that just went down during our call, it's up again now. I reset my computer, now it's up again. It's actually weird. So that lets us know it was specifically trying to block us from speaking. I couldn't even hear her on the conference call, and then I downloaded the recording, and you can hear her on the recording. Really crazy. And that's because we're stepping into this new world order, this next era where we're going to be mainly in prominence. And if the world and society around us can demoralize us and have us feel like we're not worthy of it, we're not getting whatever, and we give up, then they won. And I mean, before they win anything, they would have to suck my big fat cock, because I would just never let that happen. And I think they know that, and they're punching their fist in the air, because you can't stop the unstoppable, which represents us who are committed to what we're really meant to do. And Aquarius, this is your age. We're in the new age of Aquarius. So like this remembrance, like I can look up to you. I can look up to you. Yeah, you might look up to Scorpio and Libra, but that's just more in a way that you would look up to someone younger than you, because you like the way they're creative. There's no one higher than you. You don't have anyone to show you the way. You set the standard. You set the standard. So like you can't necessarily, like, that's what I'm saying. Like Aries, Gemini, Cancer can get away with doubting themselves. Everyone's always going to have self-doubt, right? But like, it's weird as fuck when you do it. No offense. Yes. And you say weird stuff like, I have human emotions and feelings too. Like, I go through stuff too. And I'm looking at you like, are you trolling me? Or do you know I know? Do you know I have an idea and I know you sound wild crazy right now? You sound wild crazy right now. You sound wild crazy right now. Like, oh yeah, you know, like, I just don't understand. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know. Okay, the sign of I know, I don't know. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? Do you want sympathy? And in fact, let me not say it like that, because I know most Aquarians are not on this type of time. Most Aquarians are not doing this. So I'm just saying this for the few Aquarians who might have forgotten for some reason that you can literally snap your fingers and it's here right now. As true as she just got a free whopper. As true as Marilyn just got a free whopper. Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, Aquarius moon. Okay, Aquarius don't know what they have coming to them for once. And what's very significant about this? Yep, the endless from Sandman. Thank you, bro. And what's very significant about this is many of you have been ganged up on, especially relative to Pluto that went through your 12th house in Capricorn. I know I'm experiencing this at a certain level. So you guys are experiencing what I'm about to say at the highest level, where there is a concerted effort to subconsciously condition you by getting your immediate and total environment to completely like influence you, which happens to everyone, right? But I'm talking about like the mailman off key talking to their neighbor, saying something that applies to you, even though they're not talking to you, right? Just weird synchronicities, almost that are like throwing shade, almost that are like trying to put you in a box, but you can't be put in a box. Okay. Your existence threatens the current world order because you come from an advanced time in the future. You're here to bring, in fact, we can even say outside of time. All right. Like Men in Black, you have been fucked with by the Men in Black. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like there's this really weird Truman Show-esque type vibe happening with you. And some of you peep it. Some of you peep it. Some of you directly peep it. I kind of thought you guys were the, Aquarius, Capricorn, that's like the director in the Truman Show. Like you guys are the ones orchestrating this, but it's happening to you. It's happening to you and you're peeping it. And this is you now being able to perceive the entire collective as one body. Pisces, Sagittarius, Capricorn, you guys live this. You embody this, right? So certain people do not have the ability to perceive that. We call them mundanes. We call them muggles, right? And I don't want, a muggle sounds derogatory. We will say it's just a mundane facet. It's not even bad. This is just the limit with which they can perceive. Some people lack the ability to understand how the person who just gave your neighbor mail is directly connected to the person across the street flipping off another driver in the road. Like you're able to see how all this interconnectivity of everything speaks to you, almost as if there's someone controlling puppet strings beyond this realm. Okay. And that's going to sound delusional to anyone who cannot really perceive past a materialist reductionist perspective where cause and effect and causality itself is only limited relative to what's real, with which you, the first 5 years of your life, know that that's not true. All right. And I'm talking about those of you who actually live true to your archetype and haven't forsaken it in an effort to fit in with human beings that your consciousness exists way over. And I don't necessarily mean in a sense why you're higher than them, so you're more important. I mean, you have cosmic awareness and you use this higher awareness to guide the humanity you're in which is why you're the humanitarians. All right. But with that being said, it's really no time to play around. And this Virgo season is going to completely unlock the wealth that you're meant to come into. This is setting up investments and return on investments. So you are transforming the routines. Now that you've broken through Leo season, of course, this supernatural breakthrough tip for you is that as you awaken your birthday over the next 20 years, you're going to have so much more facets of yourself. You're going to awaken a little bit more of who you used to be before this incarnation to terrorize other people. I mean, to inspire and illuminate other people, because you're totally not like a Viltrumite who is gonna really prepare invasion of this world by other celestial beings, because that'll be crazy if this was like a Marvel Axe Judgment Day. It's not like there's some celestial that's been watching our planet for over like millennia, longer before we had a human civilization, and that the length of our entire human civilization is just like a small period to them. So we might be thinking it's a long time, but they're actually coming back to judge us all. It's not like you're a part of that, because that would be diabolical and terrifying. And if you were, spare me, bring me as a part of the process. No, I'm just joking. Holler at me, abduct me, because, anyway, yes. So that's, so I know some of you have the memories or the mission or the message, and I don't want to compromise this by like trying to cop out and say this in a way that makes a little bit more rational sense. You exist outside such themes. Like Pluto is really awakening you outside of the conventional, so you can redefine that. Remember, this is your age. I hope you're not walking around the world trying to fit in with what the world said. You're the one who defines that for the rest of everyone. You're the one who defines that, but you're supposed to be innovative. You're supposed to be quirky. You're supposed to do things that actually push the boundaries around what is acceptable or not. Whether you're an evil villain like Myron Gaines, or whether you're like actually a good Aquarius. And I don't want to just call him evil, right? But like both sides are important. Like you do need someone that is antagonizing the collective. You do need someone that is also being the protagonist for the collective. Regardless, you guys are going to innovate these boundaries. And what's very important is that you as you are now applying this value you have imagineered. Remember, the second house Pisces is, you can literally just imagine it and you got it, right? You are holding space for a total belief in your worth that you maintain, that the North Node is unlocking. So Virgo season, over the past 6 months, everything you believed you're worth, now you're bartering and dealing with other people to run their pockets and be like, hey, this is what I believe I worth. Run that. This is the perfect time to make crypto and stock investments, so that by March, the other eclipse, you come into those return of investments. Saturn goes through Aries, you strengthen your mindset. Jupiter goes into Leo, you unlock the partnerships you're destined to have. Like 2026 and 2027 is setting you up for the most awesome relationships ever. You just have to really evolve how you feel about your lifestyle, what more you feel you can accomplish in a given day in your lifestyle, while the talents you've evolved, you're fully innovating. And let people feign ignorance. Let people look at you when you're speaking brilliance and be like, what are they talking about? They're slow. Most of them are mortals who probably won't even like live past 90 years. No offense. I know that sounds pretty callous. This is going to sound like gospel truth in like less than 5 years from now. So like, still don't slow down for other people. Do not slow down for other people. You have to keep paving the way. You've been doing this, right? Keep doing it. And on that note, now that my Instacart has arrived, I'm going to end this monthly Air Tribe report. And you guys stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.